But it's kind of a fall-esque type of song.
Good morning, Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living.
Good morning, Brian.
All right, that wasn't too bad. If you're joining online, hi, thank you. Thank you for being here. My name's Brian Kurtz. My pronouns are he and him. And I'm grateful to be here today. Glad to see everybody here. And I really am grateful to be here today. I didn't know if I was going to be able to be here today. And little miracles happened, and here I am. So I'm grateful. Our musical inspiration today is Susan Clark, who's already rocking it with Autumn Leaves this morning.
Thanks, Brian.
Our tech team is Cheryl Ray and Sue, who have it going. Should I say it's okay? All right. We got thumbs up. Everything's good. Doug Bowe, and I don't know her name. Oh my God. Who is that?
Erica.
Erica, thank you so much for being here as greeter with Doug. Grateful for you. Greg Gardner is going to be doing the invocation and doing high watch today. And Chris Duvall is going to be leading our vision. She is going to be leading our vision and mission statements. And Reverend Kamatara is here, hosting and delivering a great message today. Just a couple of quick announcements. Solid Grounds is continuing to rock. I was not here, but watched it online. All you have to do is go to YouTube, and if you're subscribed to Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living on the YouTube channel, you will all of a sudden see when you pull up your YouTube channel, there's something happening over here called Solid Grounds on Friday evening, and Gene Corbin was phenomenal. Just classic after classic after classic. I love Gene, and I love his hat. I'm a hat guy. Gene's a hat guy. It was a good thing. Lots of good folks coming up for Solid Grounds on Friday night, so please check that out. This coming Wednesday from 5 to 6:30 is our drum circle. If you love drum circles, be there. If you've never tried a drum circle, it's just a heck of a lot of fun. You just kind of be with the beat and roll with it, and it's awesome. In the bookstore, George Harris, who's a really cool guy. I don't know how many of you guys know George. He's also a good hat guy. George has a wonderful book called Love is All There Is, and the Rest We Made Up. It's a pretty darned accurate title. And Stanley M. Perry, author of The Rainbow Bridge, is sharing a true story in his book, also available there. True story that happened when he was a teenager, and the proceeds from the book will go to restoring the Rainbow Bridge. So, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, it must be hat day for the guys, huh? As we come together this morning, I hear and feel the joy in each of us, each of our voices, our laughter, our smiles, our words. And I feel the presence of Creator here, in, with, and as each of us. And I know we made our way here to this place this morning, this sacred place, made sacred by our presence, with ease and grace. And at the same time, I know some of us brought some troubles, dragging along behind us. Because we know there's always these things that drag us down, that feels like things are falling apart. And I just suggest to you that when things feel like they're falling apart, they may just be falling together. Because we know that all is well. We know there is perfect unfoldment. We know that all is good in the end. If it's not good yet, it's not the end. And so I bless each of us this morning here present in our service, those listening online, and know that indeed all is well this morning. Believe it. I declare it so in the presence of Creator in each of us. So let's begin this service by saying together, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Greg. Good to hear your voice again, in person. If you'd stand, if you're able, if you feel like it, and we're going to do, this is kind of a mellow song, because I'm kind of in a mellow mood. I'm just a spoke in the wheel, one grain of sand, and we'll wait for the words, and I'll just vamp while I can. Here we go. I'll send this off to Janice Stanfield, who is now living in Bali. I met Jana when I lived in Denver. Very nice woman. Here we go. I'm just a spoke in the wheel, one grain of sand, but it feels so right to be right where I am. One little part of a much bigger plan, and the longer I'm here, the more I understand. I am one, we are one, like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one, we are one. I'm just one drop of rain that falls from the sky, that runs to a stream, then the ocean by and by. And I could do worse than to give myself up on the crest of a wave in this ocean of love. I am one, we are one, like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one, we are one. Let's do that chorus again, a little louder for me, please. I am one, I am one, we are one, we are one, like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, said and done, I am one, we are one. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. That was a great start. And thank you, Greg, for that beautiful prayer. And always happy to see you, Brian, and get that energy going in the room. And happy to see you all. So welcome to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Reverend Kamatara. My pronouns are she and her, with all the glitter you can imagine. And I like being a girl. And I serve as one of the ministers here. And yeah, thrilled to be here today after lots of travels, and it's good to be home. So here at the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living, we are anchored in principles of science of mind, which I love to say is a teaching, a philosophy, and a way of life. If you look at the cover of the book, that's what it says on the cover. And I feel like that's just a beautiful phrase, a teaching, a philosophy, a way of life. So science of mind, if we were to say, science of mind, greatest hits, if you could just give me a few bullet points, what would they be? All right, well, we believe that there is only one power in the universe that is known by many names. It doesn't matter what you call the thing that cannot be named. It's that something sacred going on, pick the words you want. So for ease, a lot of folks say one power, one love, one universe, God, dog, Bob, whatever works for you. There's that thing, that one power. And we believe that thought is creative. So we take care of what's in our minds and keep going back to spiritual truth, that there is only one power, and that we are working together when we choose to create something beautiful and powerful and loving. And when that runs amok, as often it does, then we don't beat ourselves up or blame ourselves or do the shame, blame, guilt game. We don't do that in this spiritual community as much as possible. We release that and remember the truth of who we are. And then when we can't remember the truth of who we are, that's why we're in the bounty of spiritual community together. Because we know in the spiritual community that each one of us is whole, perfect, and complete, just as we are. We do not need to be rescued, saved, or fixed. So we know that some things we may at times be out of alignment with the divine or truth, but we also know that we can make a different choice and get realigned and then access the full power and love of the divine that is expressing as us. So that's our spiritual community in a nutshell. Great big nut. All right, so we're going to take a moment to welcome everyone that's here. Welcome to the folks in the seats. Welcome to the folks at home. And even the folks that are tuning in later. We're all together in this beautiful service. And this time is special because you are here. So we're going to take a moment to bless each other. In fact, is there anyone that's here for the very first time? Just seeing if there's anyone that's brand new. Okay, you know what my next line is because I say this often. Y'all need to bring some friends. Okay, and to folks online, if you're new, feel free to type in the chat, where are you tuning in from? We'd love to know more about you. And if you're ever in Albuquerque, you've got a place to stop by. All right, so let's do our blessing for each other. If you want to outstretch your hands and just receive and give this blessing, you can repeat after me if you feel comfortable with that. We see you. We know who you really are. You are a unique emanation of spirit. We love you. We appreciate you. We thank God for you. Welcome home. And now it's time for our mission and vision.
It's coming. I'll bet we could do it. How about it? Let's just do it. Or you can repeat after me if you don't know it. Vision. Transforming our world with the power of love in action. And mission. Loving all creation through spiritual growth and service, always staying true to our highest self. And I have two readings this morning. One is from Pema Chodron. She is a Tibetan Buddhist teacher. She wrote, "When Things Fall Apart, Heart Advice for Difficult Times." In a nutshell, she believes that intimacy with difficulty is the beginning of wisdom. We think that if we just meditated enough or jogged enough or ate perfect food, everything would be perfect. But from the point of view of someone who is awake, that's death. Seeking security or perfection, rejoicing in feeling confirmed and whole, self-contained and comfortable, is some kind of death. It doesn't have any fresh air. There is no room for something to move in and interrupt all that. We're killing the moment by controlling our experience. Doing this is setting us up for failure, because sooner or later we're going to have an experience we can't control. Our house is going to burn down. Someone we love is going to die. We're going to find out we have cancer. A brick is going to fall out of the sky and hit us on the head. Somebody's going to spill tomato juice all over our white suit. The essence of life is that it is challenging. Sometimes it is sweet and sometimes bitter. Sometimes your body tenses and sometimes it relaxes or opens. Sometimes you have a headache. And sometimes you feel 100% healthy. From an awakened perspective, trying to tie up all the loose ends and finally get it together is death because it involves rejecting a lot of your basic experience. There's something aggressive about that approach to life, trying to flatten out all the rough spots and imperfections into a nice, smooth ride. To be fully alive, fully human, and completely awake is to be continually thrown out of the nest. To live fully is to be always in no man's land. to experience each moment as completely new and fresh. To live is to be willing to die over and over again. From the awakened point of view, that's life. And from Ernest Holmes, Your Invisible Power, he wrote that in 1974 on page 30. Peace is at the center of your own soul. It is the very being of your being. This peace, which is at the center of your being, has never been disturbed or afraid. It never desired to harm anyone, and therefore it has never been hurt. Above the wind and higher than the whirlwind, enshrined in the heart of God, there is a voice within you which says, "Peace, be not afraid, it is I." And this I is you. This you is God within you. This God within you is peace.
Dream of a day when we can live without anger. Dream of a time when we can live without pain. Dream of a way that we can live without hunger. Dream of a sign that the earth can be peaceful again. What can we do to get our people looking higher? What do you do in the darkness but look for the light? We can join hands and do whatever we desire, and we'll never fail as long as our reasons are right. We're gonna live in peace. It's our only chance on earth. Get all this fighting to cease, and remember what life is worth. Each of us has the power to bring about changes. Each of us has the power right here on earth. Though society separates us from the time of our birth, we won't live here much longer if we live as strangers. And no time at all if we don't learn to live with the earth. Combining our efforts instead of being part of, sharing a vision that we will have a new dawn. Remember that love is how this all got started. And don't you know that love will keep giving long after we're gone? that we haven't given in the past, a way to live here on earth. Make it last and last and last. Dream of a day when we can live in communion. Dream of a time when we can live without fear. Awaken a way to get all of us working together. And know that the time when the earth can be peaceful is near. And know that our thoughts and our actions are honest and clear. And know that the people on earth are safe from all fear. Know that the time when the earth can be peaceful is near.
Thank you, Susan. Inspirational as always. So this month, the topic is shifting from pieces into peace. So a fun little play on words, but also very profound. And this week, we're going to try to shift how we see and experience the world from all these disparate pieces that can be so disruptive and disturbing into seeing only oneness and experiencing only peace. So this is the transformation that we're seeking today. So the very first thing that we need to do, at least in our teaching, faith, philosophy, and way of life, we would say the first thing we need to do is to wake up to the illusion of separation. And that phrase gets thrown around a lot. It's kind of abstract, and it can be a little woo-woo. So I'm going to try to make it really practical. You know me, I'm a practical kind of girl. So when I think of waking up to the illusion of separation, what I try to think about is, okay, can I actually see the difference or experience the difference between here are all these conditions, like my life experiences, these people in their human forms, like what's happening on this plane of reality, versus spirit or God or that one love, that something sacred, whatever words you're going to put in there, that higher power that's actually flowing in as through every single one of us. That's the difference. So if I'm only stuck in conditions, then yes, I'm only seeing little pieces, and life is going to be very disruptive and chaotic, and I can't see how things connect, and I don't have solid ground to stand on, and it's going to be super tumultuous. But if I can wake up to, wait, there's something greater going on here, then the illusion of separation falls away, and then the ground becomes very solid upon which to take a step back and take in the whole puzzle comes together with all its pieces. So let's just do a little experiment right now. Take a moment to just look around the room and see all the people in it, even at home. Just like look around your room and see all the people and the parts, and you can see all different objects, and there's plants and people, and there's music equipment and beautiful people, and we're already just smiling and just, kind of giggling, and all right. That's awesome. There's lots of parts and people and pieces and things going on. Now I'm going to ask you to get focused back inside yourself. And if you feel comfortable, just close your eyes for a moment. Take a nice deep breath in and go within. And just consciously move your attention and energy to your heart space. And breathe into your heart. And feel the divine within. And expand that sense of the divine within to that sense of oneness with all beings. And feel that sense of peace that comes with the whole. All right, now holding on to that sense of peace, just gently open your eyes and slowly just look around the room again, only this time from your heart center. And look into each other's eyes and feel the namaste that is here. The divine in me recognizes and honors the divine in you. Feel that shift into oneness in the room. And come on back to yourself, holding on to that deep sense of peace. Did you feel a difference between the first time and the second time you looked around? And it only took that much for you to be able to drop in to that space and to actively engage in that space. That wasn't a woo-woo space, that wasn't abstract, that wasn't philosophical. It was a physical, lived experience we just had. That is real. That is practical metaphysics at work right there. And we have access to that anytime that we want. And the big thing for me is to hold on to, well, what did that feeling feel like? And can I recognize when I'm not that? Because when we view the world through the lens of otherness or separation, or just I can only see this little piece, or all these crazy pieces that are knocking against each other like outrageous bumper cars that are out of control, then the world feels really scary. I can feel I'm not safe, I feel like I need to protect myself, and then I react in defensiveness and fear and all the crazy things we do when we're in survival mode. So the alternate to that is when we really access the grand rising that we're focusing on this year. Centers for Spiritual Living, our theme for the year is a grand rising, which I think is a beautiful way to say transcendence. How do we get into that grand rising? We do that by intentionally waking up to oneness, because that's where peace, or that lived experience of namaste, lives in that oneness. That's where we can move to a place of love and curiosity and cooperation and compassion. That's where transformation happens. So our lives change for the better, and we experience a world filled with more peace and love and harmony right now. Not later, not when this happens, or when we check this box, or if only just that other person would. We know that's a losing game. We've been doing that for years. It doesn't work. It's right now, it's right here, if we choose it. So in the illusion of separation, there is no peace. Only oneness can weave the pieces together to become an experience of peace, where nothing disturbs us, because we can see the whole context, not just the parts. And recently, as some of you know, if you're Facebook friends, my dad did in fact pass in August, so thank you all for your beautiful support throughout all that time. So I flew back home, and I have to say, the day of his memorial service, with all its parts and pieces, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. We had the visitation, then we had the funeral mass, and then we had the reception, and I have to say, it was a day where all his parts and pieces got pulled together in one place. And seeing 8.5 decades worth of pictures. My mom and I got to make the photo boards and just, sift through thousands of photos and try to pick out representative times, and just like pulling it all together and seeing it all laid out, all on the dining room table, and be like, wow. Isn't that interesting? No matter what experiences I had with him, good, bad, messy, ugly, indifferent, gorgeous, wonderful, terrible, all of it is equally true, and that is the experience of this beautiful life. And then being at the visitation where I was in the family receiving line, so it's like almost like a wedding. Like we stood in the little line, my mom and the 3 brothers, and then people came along and told us all different things. And because I was so happy to listen to folks who were coming with me, coming to see me, because each person knew a different thing about my dad that I didn't know. And so each one told me a little story. And it was so awesome. I didn't know any of these stories that folks were telling me, these life-changing, awesome things that my dad did that I never got to experience. Those were parts and pieces of him I did not have, until I could take a step back and be open-hearted and open-minded to receive all the other parts and pieces I did not know that are there, whether I can see them or not. And that's what helped me to really get to deep closure that day. And I was honored to be able to give the eulogy on behalf of the family, and I made it through by the grace of God. And it was interesting to have a collective moment of forgiveness for anyone who maybe had rugged experiences with my dad, especially towards the end. But then to also remember our faith, that we show up even when times are hard, when we know extra grace is required, and we bring it, and we remember that we can forgive and we can love at the same time. And then I invited folks to remember the good times that they had with my dad, because all of that is the whole picture, and we all had really amazing, awesome closure. I'm so grateful for that gift, moving from the pieces to peace. And in Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes tried to write down a declaration of principles, and this is really core to what we believe here. He wrote, "We believe in the individualization of spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one." So when we tune into this spiritual truth, that we each, our spirit made manifest, we can realize how deeply we are one, and we can move beyond that sense of other, expand into that sense of oneness, because this is the place of peace, the peace that surpasseth all understanding. We can look into the eyes of everyone and see God is there. And I know that is a big ask in an election year, but I'm just saying, we say all. Not just some, not just sometimes, not just when it looks like the way you want it to look like. So here's a phrase that I hold on to that helps me a lot, and you've maybe heard me say it before. I want you to think about your furnace, and deep down way in that really hard to reach spot, there's the pilot light. Okay, that's the divine. And how much you use it is up to the person. I don't know. Some people, turn it up, and other people like, Okay. So what I remember, instead of saying my battle cry, my peace cry, is the pilot light of the divine is always lit in everyone. The pilot light of the divine is always lit. And that helps me to realign with the divine that is in that moment, even if I can't see it. Because I know no matter who or what is before me, there is God too. And my goal is to be not a warrior, but a peacemaker, and to be able to see it and then be it. So when we are not seeing God in everyone and everything, which may happen throughout the course of a week, we know we need to pause. We need to pause for peace. We've got to recognize when we are not at peace and then make a different choice. So little thought experiment. Think about this last week that you had, and can you pick one time this last week when you were a little disturbed? Okay, just one. Only one time. Okay. And take a step back from yourself inside your mind. I'm going to invite you to be reflective and self-aware. And I want you to think about when you are disturbed, what is your MO? How do you behave? And you're not judging it. You're just observing, like an objective scientist. Okay, what does it look like when you're not at peace? What does it sound like when you're not at peace? What does it feel like when you're not at peace? Where is it in your body when you're not at peace? Because this is how Spirit gets your attention. It's a flag on the play. It's setting off all the flares, right? If you recognize it, it hooks you, it riles you up, it pushes your buttons. Awesome. So know yourself and know that we have a choice in that moment. A favorite, most famous quote from Viktor Frankl, remember that he's a survivor of the concentration camps, Man's Search for Meaning. So this is his most famous quote of all times. You could probably say it with me, but it bears repeating. He wrote, "Between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. And in that space lies our freedom and power to choose our responses. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." Our growth and our freedom in that little space between stimulus and response. But here's the rub. Here's what our amazing little brains do in that nanosecond of space between stimulus and response. Our amazing brains, our little reptilian brains, make up an entire story. And they're going to tell us everything they know about that moment right there, and they know it hands down, no exceptions. I'm telling you, that's what it is. Oh my gosh, in that split second. Precious little pumpkins. Oh my gosh. So here's what I need to tell you, even though it's kind of painful. Objectively, whatever happened, that stimulus, the story on the news, what a family member said, something you saw on Facebook, it literally has no meaning. It's just an event. It's the stimulus. Until we give it meaning, and then we respond based on the meaning that we made up. We are meaning-making machines. We are storytellers extraordinaire. So from our friends, A Course in Miracles, Lesson 2, I give everything I see all the meaning it has. Things only have the meaning that we give them. So when we practice the pause, slow down, breathe, and then we can explore, maybe give us a double space. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Just a little bit more. To take a moment and think about the story we're telling ourselves about these crazy pieces and parts. Because oftentimes, they are old tapes, they are old patterns, they are assumptions, and you know what happens when we assume. So please check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's Michael Bernard Beckwith, I love that. Please check yourself. Because what you're thinking, the story you're telling in that little gap, that nanosecond, may not support the peace and love we want to experience and be in this world. So, like we sang last week, I love that song, Susan, I choose peace instead of this. Or if you're a Course in Miracles fan, it's lesson 34, I see peace. I see only peace. In a world where people are choosing their battles, I encourage you to consciously choose peace. And you know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Or as Reverend Martha used to say, how uncomfortable do you need to be, Reverend Commentar, before you make a different choice? I'm like, apparently this uncomfortable. All right, so this is the opportunity to notice old habits and patterns that have repeated many times and make a new choice. And to keep doing that until it becomes our way of being. We can rewire our brains. We know that from neuroscience. So I can make a new choice and change what I'm doing and choose peace time and time again. Because think about it. What is the outcome that we may want? When we look at the whole, not at the piece, when we look at the whole, the outcome that I want is peace. I get it that being in an argument and being right is very glamorous and sexy and tempting and seductive. And oh my gosh, I'm a 1 on the Enneagram. Don't get me started about self-righteous indignation and justice and truth and things being right. Like that is just a big old slice of me. However, as I'm getting a little older and more experienced, I would like to choose peace instead of that. And that's why I'm going to make a different choice. I can let go my ego and have peace. So to conclude, Dr. Holmes said in his book, This Thing Called You, I love that book, peace comes from a sense of union with the whole. Confusion comes from a sense of separation. When we intentionally wake up from the illusion of separation, then we are having that grand rising into oneness. So this week, I'm going to challenge you to put all of these pieces together to be your peace, to live into that place of namaste, to really see God in everyone we meet, and to really practice that pause for peace. To compassionately ask ourselves, what is the story we're telling ourselves right now? And is that real? And then consciously choose what we do want, to take our power back, to choose peace over and over and over. When we do these things and consciously choose our peace, we are making the world as a whole more peaceful now. So Ernest Holmes wrote in his piece, World Peace is not an illusion. I'm going to have to track that down. World peace is not an illusion. He writes, you and I know that no matter how confused we are, if we will get by ourselves long enough and think peace, we will become peaceful. Peace is the divine reality at the heart of God. So I'm going to say to you right now, and really mean it, and looking at you, namaste. Thank you. So let's drop into that space for prayer. I'm going to invite the practitioners and ministers to surround the room, which is a beautiful visual sign that the arms of the divine are always around you. And as we drop in for prayer, I know that there is only one heart, one mind, one love. God, there's something sacred going on that expresses as each one of us in everyone and everything and every time and every place, because God is infinite. And because this is true, I know that I am and you are aligned with the divine that is the presence and power within. There is no separation. There is only one. And as I speak my word for myself, I am speaking it for every single person, because we all are in the oneness right now. And so I speak my word to affirm this deep sense of peace that all week long, each one of us can hold on to that calm and steady, beautiful sense of peace within, regardless of what may be happening around us. That I am rooted in peace that is the center of the divine. And that everywhere around me, there's a 50-yard radius of peace, this beautiful peace bubble. Just goes out, and then other people who cross my path are suddenly experiencing peace as well. And isn't this a beautiful ripple effect that goes out all week long as we are rolling holy tabernacles of peace? We are the place where the divine shows up. And any time something that doesn't feel like peace rises up in our bellies, or shaking hands, or trembling knees, or pounding hearts, or headaches, or whatever it is that comes up when we don't feel like peace, we take a deep breath and we let it drain from our bodies and surrender it to the divine. Every time it comes up, surrender, surrender, surrender. I let it go because I know that that is not the truth of my being. The truth of my being is peace. Everything else is stuff I'm making up. It's just a story I'm telling, and I choose peace instead of this. And I give thanks for how powerful it is that I can make a new choice again and again, and that I am supported in the divine to make this choice because the tools are already there. My essence is already there. I choose peace instead of this is already there. And I have the strength and clarity to do that. And so I'm grateful for the new choices we all make, the new experiences we get to have, the increase of peace in our lives and in this world. I am so grateful for all the opportunities where we get to practice peace in all our messy goodness. I know that this is the bounty of the divine in our lives. And knowing that all is well regardless of seeming appearance, I let it go and step more fully into peace now. And so it is. Amen.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It is our time to share our abundance. And for those of you joining us online, there are multiple ways to give, and they may or may not be rolling across your screen right now, but you know how to give. If you're in the building, we do have baskets here on the stage, and we invite you to come up and place your offerings here. We do have a need to keep the lights on, to put paper towels in the restrooms and pay our rent checks. So we genuinely desire and appreciate your generous donations, and know that they are essential to our ministries, to the wonderful inspirational talks from our ministers, to the beautiful music that we hear every Sunday. So we thank you so much for participating in our financial abundance. Let's say the giving affirmation together. I am abundant, and I give from my abundance. I am prosperous, and I give from my prosperity. I am blessed, and I give from my blessings. My blessings of spirit are as abundant as the stars, and so I give and receive generously. And so it is.
Now, what were the chances I would have two solos in the key of A flat? Huh. Who planned that out? I don't know. I think a lot of you know this song. It's called Love Can Build a Bridge. It's by the Judds. And feel free to sing along. That's just in general. Anytime you want to sing with me, okay? And you can sing loud, too. I gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet, to share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. I would swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams. When all your hopes are sinking, let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I would whisper love so loudly every heart could understand that love and only would give up my heart's desire so that you might see that the first step is to realize that it all begins with you and me. Do a favor for me and look at me instead of the screen. Because I'm right here in the room. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? 'Cause when we stand together, it's our finest hour. We can do anything, anything, anything. Just keep believing in the power. Because love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I'm going to do that chorus one more time. Love can build a bridge. You can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Thank you. Thanks.
All right, let's bless these offerings. Thank you, sweet Spirit, through all these generous hearts, for these and all your gifts. We are grateful for the provision for all of our ministry needs and more. We're thankful for the infinite abundance in the universe, for our good health, for our friends, our family, and for the opportunity to express our love and appreciation to one another. In this moment of gratitude, we allow ourselves to appreciate the abundance and prosperity that comes to our center. Each gift and giver are blessed, and we declare that each person's peacefulness, joy, and abundance is increased 1,000-fold. Let us join together in anchoring this prayer with, and so it is. What am I going to do? Okay. Well, it has been a joy. Thank you for the reminder. It's been a joy that we've been able to celebrate together. Please take advantage of our opportunities for prayer here in the prayer garden, and also for time to share with one another over food in the social hall. You can go directly through the kitchen for that. And so it's time for our closing song and affirmation. Thank you, Kendra.
Would you please stand? We're going to go out with some Eddie Watkins Jr. Hey, hey, hey. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There is only one holy substance flowing in throughout creation. And right here in this very moment, we are an expression. We are a beloved expression, born of perfection. Let's raise our hands and celebrate, because we know there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. only one life. That life is your life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is your life. And that life is perfect. And that life is your life now. One, 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 one. One, 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 one. One, 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 one life. That life is perfect. That life is your life now. Happy Sunday.
All right. Your affirmation for the week is, I choose peace in this moment now. I choose peace in this moment now. Have a peaceful week, y'all.
Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. And let it begin with me. With God as our Father, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. To love each other and support each other in truth and honesty. God is our creator. Families all are we. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth. Peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. And let it begin with me. Let peace begin right now. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyful vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, it begins with me. Let there be peace on earth. Peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. And let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth. Peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. And yes, it begins with me.
Sometimes I have to be careful when I do that I don't distract myself. But I get it. People are so used to looking at the screen that I'd almost like for it to be off during my solos because people are trying to see what I'm saying instead of feeling what I'm saying. So there's a difference. I mean, I could feel the difference just because you guys all did it. When I asked you not to look at the screen, your eyes and your attention came back to me as a person in the room, right? So it's just gives me, I don't know, who knows?
But that and the songs that you pick, the words, the music, and everything, which especially, I got here so late today. But yeah, see, that's this point.
I've done this so long, I can't let go of a lot of my ego. Once I tapped into that,
mean, it's a huge thing. We've been working on this, and this is not going to be a final. That was really nice. This is going to be a first cut at Franklin Pierce. What I'm willing to do, here's what they're willing to do. But actually, I said, we need to start by asking him what he wants. Because he said, nobody's asking me what I want. You're deciding without me. No.
Well,
That happens.
and that happens.
Yeah. In fact, that's going to happen if you only start with love.
I don't know Frank at all where his mental clarity.
Oh, so mental clarity is fine. Mental clarity is fine.
A lot of times we say,
But when you
we see an
combine,
older person
yes,
with their special needs,
yeah.
and we just think, oh, they